Sup? Watch this, y'all.
So these people who are having these experiences with unidentified aerial phenomena, they actually have differences in their brain in some of the cases you've seen that might explain why they're seeing them.
Yeah, that they're basically smarter and they realize what's sitting in front of them and they don't ignore it. I mean,
So, we've got Stanford Professor Garry Nolan basically making the claim that if you see UFOs, you're somehow smarter. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, which is why I wanted to make this video. So, what's happening here? Let's break it down. Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Vetted. Let's jump in. Stanford Professor Garry Nolan sat down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart. They released this new interview. I'll put a link to the full, episode, interview, whatever, so you can watch the full thing. We're going to take a look at one clip here, and that's part of it, where he basically goes into this. Like, if you see UFOs, then you're somehow smarter. And I just am so confused. Like, am I hearing this right? I've never heard this before. This is brand new to me. So please hit that like button. Tell me what you think of this video. And that helps us out for sure. Support this and leave a comment down below. Am I misunderstanding this? Am I understanding this correctly? Again, the full interview I watched, it's well worth it. A lot of great stuff in there. Garry talks, he basically details all of his personal UFO experiences, which I think I'm going to make a separate video on that, to be honest with you. He goes into just a lot of different stuff. It's a great video. But this part in particular just stuck out at me because I never heard this before, right? That somehow if you see UFOs, you're somehow considered smarter. I've never seen a UFO. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, wait a second, am I dumb? Am I stupid because I haven't seen a UFO? Oh my gosh. What does that mean? Or you can only see a UFO. Right? If two people were standing, one's dumb, one's smart, and a UFO flew by, the dumb guy wouldn't see it. But the smart guy would? I don't know. Again, help me understand this. So let's jump in. Let's take a look at this clip and see what, this is about. Y'all, if y'all haven't hit that subscribe button already, if you're not already subscribed, please do that. I put out a new video every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. Let's go. All right. Let's start with the full clip here at the beginning.
just the study of people who might have had these interactions revealed something about the human brain that people at the time didn't know, but now has been confirmed not only by us, but by multiple other laboratories who have nothing to do with the paranormal aspects of this, but have shown that the caudate is involved in intuition and intelligence. Now, why it's important is that is...
The caudate, real quick, just going to continue this. The caudate, I had to look that up. I didn't know what that was. So the caudate nucleus is a paired C-shaped subcortical structure which lies deep inside the brain near the thalamus. It plays a critical role in various higher neurological functions. If you look down here, it says the caudate nucleus helps process visual information and control movement. It's involved in working memory, cognitive function, and emotions. The structure plays a vital role in how the brain learns, specifically the storing and processing of memories. I guess that is if you're smart or not, right? You got a bigger caudate. Never ask anybody that. How big is your caudate? So yeah, that's what he's talking about here when he says caudate.
Intimately involved, but have shown that the caudate is involved in intuition and intelligence. Now, why it's important is that is intimately involved with perception. And so if perception is about seeing something that's in front of you and not ignoring it, then maybe you have part of the solution why certain people see something that others don't. And we all know the story, one of the gorilla walking across the stage, right?
So these people who are having these experiences with unidentified aerial phenomena, they actually have differences in their brain in some of the cases you've seen that might explain why they're seeing them.
Yeah, we're dumb.
With unidentified aerial phenomena, they actually have differences in their brain in some of the cases you've seen that might explain why they're seeing them.
Yeah, that they're basically smarter and they realize what's sitting in front of them, and they don't ignore it. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're magic.
So again, he's about to go. We're going to watch more of this. Again, am I confused by this? Am I misunderstanding this? Right? If you see UFOs, you're somehow smarter. And he's going to go on to talk about smart people and all this. I guess I would need the definition of what smart means. You know, when someone says, oh, I'm smarter. How? Smarter how? Life has a lot of different points, right? How are you smarter? In what way? Right? I've heard that term my whole life. So again, just curious. Please tell me in the comments. Again, y'all leave wonderful comments. So I'm curious to, hear everyone's interpretation of this. And have you heard this before? Or is this the first time you're hearing this like me? And if you know of any other clips are out there that this is talked about, or books or something, recommend it to me. Let's continue.
It just means that they see something for what it is. And so people have asked me, well, is this area of the brain created by the interaction? No, because in some of the individuals, we actually were able to go back and look at their MRIs 10 years earlier and see that they still had it. They're born with it. And what's fascinating is it runs in families.
I was going to say, have you tested yourself?
Yes, my family has it. We're way up on the scale.
So this is like some other thing, like some UFO gene, you're special. Some people have it, some people don't. Some people have more of it. I just don't know what I think about this. I thought anybody could see a UFO, right? Or have an experience. Like, I didn't know this is just brand new to me.
One physicist I know who's like twice as much as, so it's my mother, my brother, and my sister. We all.
Because since I did the documentary last year and wrote my book, I've been amazed by the number of people who've told me that the phenomenon of sighting these objects and having these weird experiences, that I suppose you could call them paranormal, it runs in the family.
Yeah.
Mum had it, dad had it, granddad had it.
Yeah.
It's quite common, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I wouldn't turn it into a movie script of some sort of magical ability. It's just, if it's a feature of intelligence, then no surprise that it gets passed down family to family. But what I find fascinating...
A feature of intelligence, right? I don't know how I feel about this, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I mean, just my first gut instincts are I don't like this. Again, I'm a big fan of Garry Nolan. Huge. Ross Coulthart, of course. I just don't know how I feel about this. I don't know who other people are saying this. What other information is there about this? Because this is, again, the first time I'm hearing about this. And, just coming to me right now, is this something, when someone says they have a sighting, right, have we checked those people for this particular gene? So have we checked Ryan Graves, David Fravor, right? Like, who are some of the most famous people with sightings? Have we checked them for this to see, are you even capable of seeing UFOs, right? Could we call BS that way? Maybe, I don't know. Again, I'm so confused by this, y'all. I'm so confused by this.
It's almost like it's a dominant trait, because if it's a multigenic trait, multiple genes all coming together to enable a certain, what we would call phenotype, it would be much more disparate and less likely to be passed within immediate families. But the most interesting thing is this. It's found in about 1 in 100 people on average to 1 in 200 people. In a group of about, let's say, 20 people, we found 2 husband-wife pairs, both of whom had it. Okay, do the statistics. If it's 1 in 100, to basically find the other person in that 1 in 100 randomly is 100 squared, 1,000, right? Or 10,000, sorry. But to have 2 people find it in the same group is an even bigger statistical flaw or anomaly. So what does that mean? It means that these people are either in a limited breeding group, right? They all went to the same school and they're smart. Or they're somehow attracted to each other, that smart people are attracted to other smart people. So what does that do? From a really fascinating evolutionary point of view, this is what you would call the beginnings of speciation. So speciation is when you have a uniform breeding population and let's say a mountain range over time comes between them. They now are separated, no longer interbreeding, they go in their own directions.
So people who are attracted to UFOs are attracted to each other?
In a way, yeah, or
Wow.
capable of seeing. Let's just say capable of seeing. I wouldn't say that they're attracted to UFOs. I would say that I would just say, in the simplest point of view, that this area of the brain, which has now been replicated in numbers of studies, the caudate especially, and size and interactions is related to intuition and intelligence, are smart people are attracted to other smart people.
Smart. Okay, I get that. But like they're capable of seeing UFO. That's what I'm saying. Like, does that mean we have a way now of checking people who have seen UFOs, right? If your caudate or whatever isn't popping off, then you know what? It's impossible you saw this UFO. Or your caudate is popping off, you can see UFOs. I don't know. This is so weird. And this is a weird subject to begin with, and this is weird. Again, I'm so confused by this. I can't wait to read the comments to see what y'all say and, you know, what's going on here. Am I not special? Why have I not seen a UFO? I've even been out to Area 51. I've lived in Europe. I've lived in, you know, Mexico. I've lived all over the place. I've never seen a UFO. Wow. Okay, let's continue.
Garry, the one area that I've wrestled with as a journalist in this field is dealing with people who claim to have been abducted, people who claim experiences with humanoid entities.
Right.
And my gut instinct is to immediately be dismissive, to say, it's rubbish. This can't possibly be true. How do we even begin to investigate claims like that?
I struggle with it as well. You know, I hear these stories. I know people who've made these claims. The problem is that there is no, or rarely, any residual evidence of the event, right? And others have said, well, why didn't they pick up a pen, an alien pen, and bring it back? I don't know, but you have a psychological trauma of some sort that's occurred. Again, people would call it maybe a screen memory for a traumatic event that was otherwise best earthly explained. I don't know what to do about it. I really don't, except just to say that it's just more evidence on a pile that needs to be understood.
So, again, I'll put a link to this full interview so you can watch it. Again, Stanford Professor Garry Nolan sits down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who, if you don't know by now, is working for News Nation. This is not on the News Nation YouTube channel. This is with 7 News Spotlight. And again, it was recorded in 2022, before David Grush, before all of this happened last year. And again, he talks a lot about, does the government have UFOs? He tells, I've got all these notes here. He tells, his personal UFO stories and experiences that he's had. He talks about knowing that whistleblowers are coming out. He does talk about that. So sounds like he knew about, David Grush and all that. He also talks about that he has, UFO materials that he studied. He goes into some detail about that. He talks about, the injuries from UFO experiences, right? That sort of thing. He also basically admits that we're not alone. He talks about UFOs dropping material and how they pick some of that stuff up. And he talks about some To the Stars Academy research that got done with some UFO material. And, quote, he says, I'm not allowed to talk about that because Ross Coulthart asked him. So apparently TTSA was doing some sort of waveform with terahertz. They had a contract with the Army, and they were, you could do some sort of wave terahertz sound wave through this material, and it would levitate. Okay. And so, but the only people that had that kind of machine that could provide the waveform they needed was the Army. So To the Stars Academy had a contract with the Army to get this equipment to do this study on this material that they had. And when Ross Coulthart asked Garry Nolan about him, he's like, I can't, I'm not allowed to talk about that. So again, a lot of great stuff in this interview. I highly recommend it. Check it out. I'll put a link to the full interview so you can watch it. It's on YouTube. It's a little over an hour, just basically an hour, and well worth it. Even though it was recorded a year ago, still well worth it. Again, I found something new. Apparently, you have to have something, the caudate or whatever, to see UFOs. You have to be capable of seeing UFOs. I can't wait to read the comments to learn a little bit more about this, and I'm going to be looking into this a little bit more, see what I can find out. Just so curious about this. So thank you all again for watching. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button. What are you waiting for? It's free. Helps us out. And again, leave that comment down below. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, y'all. We're trying to get to 3,000 before Christmas, or at least the new year. All right, we're growing fast. Thank y'all again for all the support. Really do appreciate it. It means everything to us, guys. I mean that. I mean that. Don't want to overstate that. So anyway, thank y'all again. We'll see you on the next video. Remember, every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Patrick with Vetted. Every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.